Welcome, dear listener, to Desert Island Gamer Campfire Tales, where I try and curb my stupid northern accent into something a little more mellow, where we spend long, starlit nights around the campfire glow, recounting those tales of epic endeavour and daring do, as woodland creatures and gods on high revel in our glorious escapades. Over-egged it a tad. Hang on. Long, light bulb lit nights around the TV's glow, spent drunk and a bit nauseous from a Dorito overindulgence, trying to remember that time the grenade we threw bounced off a wall and killed our whole team, as spouses, parents and kids took disapprovingly from the kitchen. Nailed it. How to save Animal Crossing New Horizons. The launch of Animal Crossing New Horizons must have felt somewhat like the elements of a perfect storm forming for Nintendo. The coronavirus pandemic was biting hard and forcing countries across the globe into a place called lockdown. The great outdoors was boarded up until further notice, and the rapid-fire news that swallowed every social media feed like some ravenous prehistoric monster painted a bleak picture of our new normal. And then, on the 20th of March, a small beacon of light shone from the eye of the storm. Here was Animal Crossing New Horizons with an escape plan. Sort of. They had a route to a socially active, outdoorsy place where the worries of reality could be left at the door, and a new life, abundant and carefree joy could be ushered in. It was not a real smell the manure on the tongue sort of countryside jaunt, but, in light of the darkness, it was pretty cool timing. Sat somewhere in the eye of this perfect storm, Nintendo had struck gold. And now here we are today, back in it's sort of a lockdown. The pubs are closed again, the restaurants are closed, but people seem to be here, there and everywhere. But soon, if certain people are to be believed, we will soon be back in business. The pubs will be open, hooray! The boards to the great outdoors will be prized loose, and the zombie hordes will be free to roam. According to the news, this will largely involve trips to Bournemouth and Barnard Castle. But with great freedom come great questions about how New Horizons can remain a relevant place to play when there is a big wide world flashing its wares at all and sundry. How can the game that came to save us continue to prove worthy of our precious time? And like I said, the pubs will be open again. Well, I have pondered this for a while and have drawn up a blueprint of potential ideas and areas of improvement that might keep New Horizons in the spotlight as the superhero we still need. One of the biggest issues for players of New Horizons, discovered after some intense questioning, is the plateau effect. New Horizons is a game that, for weeks on end, challenges players to go on a voyage of great and wondrous discovery. It is exciting, engaging, new and thoroughly satisfying. Right up until the point it hits that bloody plateau and we are left looking around for new things to do, like some aging John Travolta meme.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped us?
The discoveries have been discovered, the island home is complete, and although there are more fish in the sea, there's not that many more. Not enough to fill the sudden appearance of all these spare hours. Life on the plateau is not all that great. Now what? Well, here is a little nugget of an idea. How about offering players the chance to expand the island? Cold Hard Bells expansion. Unlock fresh areas of blank canvas for creative minds to run free once more. Escape the beige plateau life for a new rainbow-drenched goodness. Or just like a bit more to do. This expansion nugget is a way Nintendo can break the status quo of day-to-day Animal Crossing life on the plateau. It could catapult us into the heady days of early lockdown, when this game was like Mel Gibson screaming at us from some delicate forest den.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Sure, there are events, but these are not frequent enough to alleviate the stumble from vital gameplay to beige shadows of boredom. Come on, Nintendo, give us humans a taste of what we do best. Let us grow and plough a new furrow in ever more expansive fields. Let us expand faster than Succession's Roy family with less swearing. Marginally. Another potential saviour could come in the form of enhanced social spaces. Now, this idea came to me via a different game, a personal favourite. Picture this. There is a game called Don't Starve. It has a very cool shipwrecked expansion. Players can build a seaworthy vessel and sail from one island to another as they try not to starve. Imagine with the many varied Animal Crossing worlds, there is a place known in local myth and legend, and in hushed tones of shadowy inns, a social island. A gathering place, just a pleasant raft ride away, no drawn-out aeroplane flights, just a jaunt over water. Of course, you have to forage and build your vessel first, but then the Valhalla glory of Social Island awaits, and its promise, of having something to do. Once on Social Island, players can trade, chat, and dance together and stuff. It will be an oasis of new horizons. It will be a place we sing of in booming voices at every celebration. It will be quite good. And there are just a couple of escape routes for a game that was once an escape route itself. But then I had another thought. Regardless of where it goes and how brave Nintendo feels, New Horizons has played its part in recent months like few games have before. These were times unlike anything we had previously encountered. We had to stay home, and even those like myself who tend to embrace the idea felt the pinch, and looked for anything that might take our minds elsewhere. Things like New Horizons. And in some respects, this is, I believe, the key to keeping players hooked. New Horizons became more than just a game, it became a comfort blanket. The key to a magical door that led someplace free of the frequent, bleak, real-world updates. Something that when the dust eventually settles will still make people smile and feel sheltered. Like when The Goonies comes on TV. For this reason, it will always hold a special place in people's hearts. The sights and sounds of this gentle little game will forever be painted in the colours of joyful escape and forgetting real-world worries for an hour or two. Based upon this, perhaps Nintendo has already done enough. Can we have Mel Gibson back on set, please? Neil Young once famously sang the line, "It's better to burn out than to fade away." As a quick opening point, if you are currently scratching your head wondering who the hell Neil Young is, then this article might not be for you. Yet. But, in the words of Led Zeppelin, your time is gonna come. Now, if you're currently scratching your head wondering, forget it. If I was to hazard a guess, I believe veteran rocker Neil Young was referring to calling time on something when your star is burning at its brightest, as opposed to ploughing on as a shadow of your former self. And as I said, I'm guessing here, but I'm rolling with it, as Liam and Noel Gallagher might say. Whilst I can see where the line is coming from for the rock stars amongst us, in everyday life, things are a little different. And in a life lived in gaming, it's entirely different. The burning star never seems to reach its peak. Instead, it just keeps getting more and more intense, as every new gaming dawn brings something even brighter than the last. And this is as the new Xbox and PlayStation consoles become live and kicking in the big wide world. So where the hell am I going with this? Well, I am what I would probably describe politely as an experienced gamer. But to the outsider, that similarly aged acquaintance who is oblivious to the vast gaming universe we experienced chaps inhabit, I'm what they might well describe as an "aren't you a bit old for video games" sort of gamer. And I have to be honest, it's something I will never understand. Why anyone who can happily reap joy from a couple of hours in front of a big screen movie, lapping up the unfolding action like a parched puppy at a pond on a hot summer's day, can't see the potential joy that is to be had from stepping through the screen into the body of the adventure hero is beyond me. And that is sort of exactly what this modern age of games allow us players to do. We can leave the comfort of the sofa without actually getting up and live other lives less ordinary. To be honest, we always have enjoyed such an experience. Even when the graphics could never do justice to the imaginations of the creators, we had our own imaginations that could more than compensate. Why that is seen as something to leave behind as age creeps upon us, I will never know. I was never really any good at the games anyway. My slower reaction speed now just offers a legitimate excuse. I am part of a generation that witnessed the birth of the video game. Sadly, we didn't follow a star bearing gifts of gold coins, a 20-sided die and a packet of top trumps as fable suggests, but we did defend the Earth from the dreaded space invaders before a lunch break of blue ghosts and cherries, and I am part of what I expect will one day become the first generation of gaming pensioners. I see a glorious day when our kind will invade the game shops, decked out in tartan slippers, slacks up to our chins and a hint of Werther's on the breath, as we seek out the latest escape into a rocket-fueled GTA game and reminisce about the golden age, when we still used control pads and owned physical consoles instead of these darned microchip brain implants. It's coming. I have no doubt that it's coming. My generation has ridden this wave since it was a barely formed ripple, and we're not ready to wipe out just yet. It is very easy to envy the kids today that are born into an industry that puts living, breathing, lifelike worlds at their fingertips, then offers them a global playground of opponents and allies to adventure with, and does it all in eye-watering 4K goodness. It's a wonderful time to embark on your adventure in video games, but equally, there are great joys many will never know. 4-player split-screen Halo on an old standard TV, anyone? It might not sound too exciting these days, but to those upon the settee with a beer in one hand and a control in the other, they were glorious nights. Multiplayer to most meant going around to mates with your console and a beverage in hand. The night ahead would always guarantee laughs, fierce competition and complete loss of the passing of time. Memories were made and unbreakable bonds formed within the can and pizza-strewn living rooms and bedrooms of gamers across the land. So many great events have unfolded over the decades that will mean little to younger players but were defining moments for the older gamer. The Nintendo versus Sega wars, God, the Spectrum versus Commodore wars for that matter, smashing all hell out of a rubber keyboard in a vain attempt to make Daley Thompson run faster. The arrival of Sony and their PlayStation, the early death of Dreamcast, Blinks the Time Sweeper, whatever happened to him, the Resident Evil voice acting, my inspiration, sensible soccer, real arcades, and so much more. We already have a lifetime of amazing memories from time spent in an amazing universe, and there is so much more to come. It's a ride I fully intend to take, and so I refuse to burn out or fade away where gaming is concerned. I know I shall one day march on into brave new worlds and shuffle into game shops where my hair greys and my trousers rise, because like the Goonies, old gamers never say die.